There's a moment just before a man speaks when the silence carries more weight than any words that follow. It's in that pause, the brief flicker of awareness between impulse and articulation, where true intelligence often reveals itself, not in what is said, but in what is withheld. And in today's world, where voices are loud and attention spans short, this quiet form of strength has become rare. Welcome to Stoic Guide. This is not just another video. This is a blueprint for a better, wiser, more disciplined life. Today, we're diving deep into 7 things that truly intelligent men never say, not because they're perfect, but because they've learned, sometimes the hard way, that certain phrases are traps dressed as truths. Let's begin with the first. I already know that. This phrase seems harmless at first. It feels like confidence, like mastery, but what it really signals is a closed door, a mind that's shut itself off from further growth. When a man says, I already know that, he's announcing that there's nothing left to learn, that his cup is full. But intelligent men understand the opposite to be true. Wisdom, especially the kind rooted in Stoic philosophy, teaches that learning never ends. Marcus Aurelius warned us, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. When we claim full knowledge, we reject curiosity, and without curiosity, growth dies. I remember once sitting with a mentor, an older man who barely spoke unless necessary. We were reviewing a process I thought I had mastered. He started to point out a detail, and I reflexively cut him off. Yeah, I know that. He paused, looked at me, and moved on. He said nothing, but the silence was heavy. That night, it hit me. I hadn't just interrupted him. I had robbed myself of the chance to see what he saw. That's what this phrase does. It's not intelligence, it's ego in disguise. True intelligence listens, especially when it believes it already knows. The second phrase is just as deceptive. That's impossible. On the surface it sounds practical, grounded, realistic, but it's often a fear response in disguise. When a man says, that's impossible, what he often means is, I'm afraid. I don't know how. I might fail. The Stoics knew this well. Seneca once wrote, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Fear whispers limitations into our minds before we even try. I once worked with a man named Robert, a sharp thinker with years of experience. But every time a new idea surfaced, his first response was always the same. That's impossible. He wasn't seeing the situation, he was projecting his fear onto it. Intelligent men don't surrender to that reflex. They ask, what's the next step? What can I do with what I have? Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The third phrase, that's not my fault. Perhaps the most tempting of them all. It feels righteous to say it, especially when it's true. But intelligent men understand that responsibility is not about blame, it's about influence. When you say, that's not my fault, you're pushing away the one thing you control, your response. I saw this with a friend who lost a major client. He had a dozen excuses, all of them valid. But while he was busy defending his ego, he missed the opportunity to learn, to grow, to adjust. Intelligent men don't point fingers. They ask, what part of this can I own? Because ownership is power. Responsibility is not a burden. It's a path to growth. Epictetus said it best. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Number 4, I don't need any help. This is the anthem of pride disguised as strength. The lie we tell ourselves when we think asking for help is weakness. But the truth is, the refusal to ask is often what isolates us. Intelligent men understand that strength is not self-isolation, it's self-awareness. Even the most powerful Stoics leaned on others. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, openly credited his teachers, friends and mentors in his writings. He didn't pretend to know it all. He asked, he listened, he leaned in. Abraham Lincoln, in one of the darkest moments of history, built a team of rivals, men who challenged his ideas, because he knew wisdom is forged in tension, not silence. Asking for help doesn't make you weak, it makes you real. The fifth phrase is a quiet killer. That's just how I am. It sounds like self-acceptance, but it's often self-sabotage. Intelligent men never use their identity as an excuse for inaction or bad behavior. Saying, "That's just how I am," is a refusal to change, a declaration that growth is no longer on the table. But the Stoics teach us that character is not fixed. It is shaped daily by choice and habit. You are not a finished product. You are a process. And that process depends on your willingness to evolve. Change is not betrayal of self. It is the ultimate expression of who you're becoming. Sixth, I don't care. This phrase has become a badge of honor in some circles, a defense mechanism to avoid vulnerability. But intelligent men know that apathy is not strength, it's fear. The Stoics spoke of apatheia, but not in the modern sense of indifference. It was about emotional discipline, not emotional disconnection. To say, "I don't care," is to deny engagement with life. And a man who's disengaged has already lost the battle. Intelligent men care deeply, but they don't let emotions control them. They learn to channel passion with discipline, not to erase it. And finally, the seventh phrase, I'm not good enough. This one doesn't sound arrogant. It sounds humble, honest, but it's just another lie. Intelligent men know the difference between humility and self-doubt. One grounds you, the other cripples you. Telling yourself, I'm not good enough, becomes a prophecy you fulfill. The Stoics didn't teach us to be flawless. They taught us to be resilient, to strive, to fall and rise again. You don't have to feel ready to take the first step. You just have to take it. Progress, not perfection. That's the way forward. Each of these phrases carries a weight, but they also carry an invitation, a chance to pause, reflect, choose better words, and in doing so, better outcomes. Intelligent men aren't just smart. They're disciplined, they're humble, they're always learning, always listening, always refining their inner dialogue. So as you move through your day, pay attention to the words you use, not just with others, but with yourself. Are they building you or limiting you? Are they grounded in fear or strength? Are they echoing the Stoics or undermining them? Remember, your language shapes your mindset, and your mindset shapes your life. This is Stoic Guide. Stay grounded, stay strong, and speak with wisdom. Until next time.